What's up YouTube, it's your boy JB's here, and these are the best Black Ops 6 beta settings for PC and controller. First, I'm going to start off with the graphics settings on display. Make sure you have your display mode set to full screen exclusive. Make sure you have your screen refresh rate as high as possible. That means being said is for your monitor's refresh rate, your monitor's hertz essentially. Make sure your brightness is set until you can barely see the middle square for the best visibility in the game. This one's a little tricky because it depends on the monitor and depends on how good your PC is. For example, if you have a PC that actually surpasses the amount that your hertz are, for example, if you have a monitor that's 165 hertz and you pass over the 165 hertz, I recommend setting it to 10 frames higher than your hertz. So for example, if you have a 165 hertz monitor, set it to 175 hertz. If you have a 240 hertz monitor, set it to 250. For example, for myself, my monitor is actually 360 hertz and I have it set to unlimited because if you do a custom, the highest you can go is 300 and my PC does hit higher than 300 frames. How can I say? Now we're gonna go to quality. I'm just gonna scroll right by through these. I'm gonna explain on some of them. Many of these settings are very similar to the ones in MW3 and in Warzone, but there is some that are new that I still have to experiment. So we're gonna go to view. So these settings are very important. For field of view, if you play on controller, is very the lower you go. Typically in the past, the stronger your aim assist will be. Recommend FOV for myself would be 105. I recommend playing in affected, and these two settings will make your weapon look smaller, so you have a, how can I say, you can see your surroundings better. Make sure these settings are turned off. Obviously, you do not want to have motion blur. Motion blur is so bad for your game. It makes your game looks very blotchy every time you turn. Make sure your person camera is set to at least 50%. And this is honestly, this is just preference. I hate getting flashbang having a white screen. Instead of a white screen, it'll be a black screen. There's that. We're gonna go to control settings. I play in tactical flip because I have a battle beaver, so I slide with my right stick and I shoot with my L1 and R1 just because it's more comfortable for me. These are the sense that I recommend. The sense that I play on multiplayer will be 6.6 and 1.0 for my ADS sense. Make sure you have these dead zones. So for your right stick minimum, it depends on how bad a stick drift you have. If you really have a really bad stick drift, you can set it to 5, which is the default. But if your stick drift is higher or really bad, you can keep going up gradually until you see the stick drift stopping. If it goes higher than 8 or 9, I probably recommend getting a new controller. No offense. For the left one, I have it at 1 because as has made my movement feel better in past CODs. So let's go to my aiming settings. Make sure I have everything correctly here, which I think I do. Yes, so for your aim response script type, make sure it's set to dynamic. This one's very important because it will allow you to be more snappy and be able to switch targets faster. For movement, make sure that this one is actually very important. I just saw a lot of tweets about this settings. Make sure you have it set to tactical sprint assist. Make sure you click more, and make sure that your sprint assist delay is set to 0. Some people say it feels good set to 2, which obviously I guess you have to type it. Set to 2 instead of 0, but for me, I think the best one is to set it at 0. Make sure your sprint assist sideways is set to on, and the backwards is set to on as well. For these, it's just like MW3 and Warzone. I have a partial tap to slide because I do like to be able to dive. If you're comfortable clicking your left stick, you can do hybrid. Personally, I don't like doing the hybrid one because I don't know. I just don't like breaking my controller as much as other people can. I feel like breaking my right stick is... I'm used to it since Warzone 1 to just use my right stick for sliding. So tap to slide is just my preference for this. For all these other settings is mostly preference. We can go to audio settings. The thing with audio settings, it depends on the equipment that you have. I have Astros A40s, and I do have, I believe, my Astro mix amp has some custom settings on there as well. So these settings, it just depends on what works best for your own gear, your own headphones, essentially. For interface, I do recommend that you guys put your frame rates. That way you know what FPS you're getting, the ping that you have for the lobby, and then if you do get packet loss, anything else is not really necessary. You could put the clock if you really wanted to, but honestly, that's not really necessary. If you guys are annoyed about having an introduction every time you launch a game and you just want to go straight to the game, I recommend doing the skip introduction movie. Turn off your tutorials, because honestly, if you play Cloud as much as I have, I know tutorials are annoying. For the HUD, I do recommend making it as small as possible, because it will allow you to have more information in your screen. If you're playing, let's say you're playing Search and Destroy, you're playing any game mode and multiplayer, obviously. It moves your map closer to the center of your screen, so you don't have to look away as far as you would do if you have it set to the highest HUD bound, essentially. It's just easier for your eyes. For the mini maps, I do recommend doing square for more information. Obviously, more information the better. For a round, it does make your map look smaller. Make sure that the mini map rotation is on, because that will allow you to see the map correctly every time you turn. And everything else is just honestly preference. I do have, I believe, the hit markers. I have it to classic, just because I like the classic sound. For readability, click color customization. If you guys have any problems with color blindness, you could do these settings. I don't, honestly. So for color filter settings, I do recommend doing filter 2, just like before. Do them both and make sure these two are set to 100. And that is basically it. Those are my Black Ops 6 beta settings. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much. Peace.